Brace yourselves. Here are the scariest wrestlers in WWE history. The Boogeyman made you question whether what you were seeing was real or fake. His chilling entrance alone was enough to make you doubt your own sanity. As the lights dimmed and that eerie, guttural laugh echoed through the arena, a sense of dread washed over the crowd. Then, he appeared, a grotesque figure with a face full of wriggling worms. It wasn't just the sight of the worms that was disturbing, it was the way they moved, as if they were alive, a part of him. His movements were jerky and unpredictable, like a creature from a nightmare. He'd lurch forward, his long, spindly fingers reaching out, and then he'd stop, only to start moving again, fast. It was as if he lost his mind for a second, then came back to reality. He was a perfect blend of horror and comedy. He was both terrifying and ridiculous, which made him even more unsettling. He blurred the lines between fantasy and reality, leaving most kids watching wondering if what they were seeing was real or just a figment of your imagination. The following wrestler had the same effect, making you question reality, but he did it without eating worms. The Undertaker had an iconic, unique way of instilling fear in the eyes of his opponents and fans by just standing. His pre-match entrance is a masterclass in suspense, a slow-motion horror show. As the arena lights dim and an eerie silence fall, a haunting gong echoes, signaling the arrival of the dead man. The Undertaker emerges, his imposing figure slowly striding towards the ring. He is like a ghost from the wrestling world, his eyes piercing through the fog, sending shivers down the spines of his opponents. Every Undertaker opponent knows what is coming: a slow, menacing walk, a chilling stare, and a match that will test the limits of their courage. It's like facing a grim reaper who has come to collect a soul. Critics and fellow wrestlers alike have often said The Undertaker's imposing character, combined with his signature entrance and ruthless in-ring style, created an aura of invincibility. Many wrestlers have admitted to feeling a sense of dread when facing him, acknowledging the psychological impact he had. The Heartbreak Kid, one of the most dazzling performers in the WWE, decided he had enough of The Undertaker's reign of terror. He knew that to defeat The Undertaker he'd have to break the mystique. He aimed to strip away the dark aura, expose the man beneath the myth, and proved that even the dead man was vulnerable. The stage was set at WrestleMania 26 in 2010 as The Undertaker faced The Heartbreak Kid employed a variety of tactics, from psychological warfare to brutal physical assaults. He would taunt The Undertaker, questioning his mortality, and pushing him to the brink of madness. In the ring, he unleashed a barrage of high-flying maneuvers, hoping to catch The Undertaker off guard and deliver a decisive blow. Yet, no matter how hard he tried, The Undertaker always seemed to rise above. He would absorb the punishment, his resilience defying logic. Just when it seemed as if Michaels had gained the upper hand, The Undertaker would unleash a devastating counterattack, leaving Michaels gasping for air and questioning his own resolve. The dead man's ability to weather the storm and emerge victorious only served to reinforce his legendary status, leaving Michaels to wonder if he would ever be able to truly conquer the darkness. With each attempt to vanquish the dead man, Michaels found himself met with a relentless counterattack. In the end, it was The Undertaker who emerged victorious, forcing Michaels to retire and cementing his legacy as an unstoppable force. The match served as a stark reminder that testing The Undertaker was a dangerous endeavor, a lesson that would be etched into every wrestler who tried to conquer the dead man. Brock Lesnar, however, proved to be a different breed. He didn't just face The Undertaker, he conquered him, ending the streak that had terrified wrestlers for years. Brock doesn't rely on eerie gimmicks, haunting music, or demonic makeup. Instead, his fear factor stems from his sheer brutality and indifference. Lesnar's cold, calculating demeanor suggests he's not just a wrestler, he's a predator. He approaches every match with a single-minded focus on destruction, a disregard for the well-being of his opponents. His powerful strikes and explosive offense are delivered with a clinical precision that borders on sadistic. Lesnar's ability to inflict pain and suffering, coupled with his complete lack of empathy, makes him a truly terrifying force in the wrestling world. When Brock steps into the ring, it's like a real-life predator entering the arena. His hulking frame, intense stare, and the way he moves with explosive force make it clear that he's not just playing a character, he is the character. There's no theatrics, no smoke and mirrors, just a man who could break you in half if he wanted to. When you watch a Brock Lesnar match, you're not just watching wrestling, you're witnessing a controlled demolition. It's a primal, visceral experience that leaves you on the edge of your seat, wondering if what you're seeing is even real. Meet Viscera, a colossal force of nature. At 500 pounds and 6 feet, he was a towering giant who could level anyone in his path. This monstrous wrestler stormed onto the scene in 1993, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. His opponents faced a daunting task, trying to stop an unstoppable force. This gargantuan grappler would charge through his foes like a bulldozer, leaving a path of chaos and carnage. They say giants fall hard, but what happens when the giant is indestructible? When your opponent not only stands tall, but tosses you around like a toy, what are you supposed to do? Run, and run fast. Because if you don't, you might not survive the encounter. With his imposing size and brute strength, Viscera was a dominant force in the ring. His opponents trembled at the mere sight of him, knowing that they were facing a man who could crush them with ease. His signature moves, the Big Splash, was a devastating sight to behold, as he would leap from the top rope and land on his opponent with all his weight. Papashango, a sinister voodoo priest, was a force to be reckoned with. With his ghostly white face, bone necklace, and a skull that smoked ominously, he commanded attention. This 330-pound behemoth was a menacing figure who could cast spells and curses, making him a truly terrifying opponent. Papashango's dark magic cast a shadow over the entire arena. He could manipulate the lights, summon eerie effects, and even inflict pain on his opponents from afar. A master of the occult, he was a force to be feared, a demonic presence that could drive his foes to madness. He could conjure up all sorts of nasty tricks, including a strange dark liquid that would seep from his opponents. This wicked warlock was a truly terrifying figure, a force of evil that could strike fear into the hearts of even the bravest wrestlers.